No time to watch TV series, but you have an evening free and want to spend it with your favorite Turkish actors? There is a solution. Top 13 Best Turkish Movies on Netflix. In this video, you'll find everything audiences around the world love about Turkish cinema. Deep dramas, touching love stories, and lighthearted comedies with an Eastern charm. From tears and goosebumps to laughter and inspiration. Every film in this list is truly worth your evening. Belinda. At first glance, Dilara's life seems flawless. She's a successful independent actress who appears to have full control over her destiny. But everything changes when she agrees to star in a commercial for a shampoo called Belinda, where she plays the role of a modest housewife named Handan. After the shoot, Dilara steps into the shower and walks out into a completely different reality. In her home, she's greeted by unfamiliar children and a husband she doesn't recognize. Everyone around her insists she's Handan and she is not a famous actress. Even worse, no one remembers her name, her career, or her glamorous past. Desperately trying to prove her identity, Dilara faces a haunting question. Who was she truly? A real person, or just another role she played? This film is a bold remake of the 1986 Turkish cult classic. It explores themes of artistic pride, the illusion of fame, and the search for one's true self. And of course, it's impossible not to praise Neslihan Atagul's performance. After Endless Love, this is easily one of her most powerful and profound roles. The Festival of Troubadours. 25 years have passed. A dying father, once a famous folk musician, longs to see his son one last time before he goes. But for Yusuf, that meeting reopens an old wound, memories of a cold childhood and a father who never cared for him. Yet when Yusuf sees before him not a proud man, but a frail figure in torn clothes, his heart softens. His father's final wish is unexpected, to spend Valentine's Day together in Kars. And so begins their journey from Diyarbakir to Kars. The road becomes more than just a trip. It's a journey through the past, through silence, resentment, and lost love. Along the way, father and son try, perhaps for the first time, to truly understand each other and rediscover what they've both been too afraid to say: love. The film is deeply moving, showing that even the coldest hearts can melt. Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ delivers a stunning performance, joined by Sertan Ryojan, Erkan Jain, and Lajin Ceylan. Abandoned Man. The story begins within the warm walls of an ordinary home. Parents, two sons, a familiar life. But one fateful night shatters everything. The older brother commits a terrible act, yet it's the younger one, Baran, who's forced by his parents to take the blame. Still a teenager, he's sent to prison, and his life is destroyed in an instant. Years pass when Baran is released. He returns to a world that has long moved on without him. His parents are gone, and his brother now lives comfortably, with a family and a career. But between them lies an unhealed wound, the pain of betrayal and lost time. The only person who brings Baran warmth and hope is his niece. In her eyes, he sees a flicker of light, a reminder that life might still hold meaning. This film doesn't aim to entertain. It's heavy, emotional, and quietly devastating. There are no twists or action scenes. Only raw human suffering, silent conflict, and profound performances. Beautiful in its honesty, Abandoned Man is a film that weighs on the heart long after it ends. If you're looking for an easy evening watch, this isn't it. But if you appreciate deep Turkish dramas filled with emotion, truth, and pain, Abandoned Man is absolutely worth your time. Starring Mert Ramazan Demir, Ada Irma, Rahimcan Kapkap, Edip Tepeli, and Burcu Javrar. Don't leave. Semih is a young artist, a sensitive soul with a free spirit. He lives and breathes art, seeing the world in vivid colors, until one day he meets a girl just as bright and unusual as himself. Their encounter feels like destiny. Passion ignites instantly, and their relationship overflows with energy and inspiration. But suddenly, everything collapses. She leaves, and Semih is left alone with his feelings. That's when another journey begins, not through the streets of the city, but deep within himself. He goes through every stage of heartbreak, denial, anger, longing, pain, and finally acceptance. The film turns into a confession of a man who experiences love in its purest, most painful form, something rarely shown in cinema. There are no loud events or action scenes here. Everything rests on emotions, on looks, on silences that speak louder than words. Burak Deniz delivers one of his most raw and powerful performances, portraying Semih with honesty and vulnerability. His on-screen chemistry with Dilan Çiçek Deniz adds even more depth and emotional resonance to the story. Love tactics. Asli is a successful fashion designer and a popular blogger. Kerem is a charming ad executive who believes he can outsmart love itself. Both are convinced that feelings are just a game, something that can be calculated and manipulated. To prove their point, they make a bet. Whoever makes the other fall in love first wins. What begins as a playful challenge soon turns into a clever battle of wits. Asli stages romantic moments to showcase the beauty of love, while Kerem counters with the messy, inconvenient side of relationships, arguments, financial struggles, and misunderstandings. But as their tactics collide in a series of funny, awkward, and heartfelt encounters, the line between game and reality begins to blur. They start to wonder, can love really be strategized, or does it always escape control? Starring Demet Özdemir and Şükrü Özyıldız, whose sparkling chemistry made the film a massive hit, Love Tactics became so popular that it received a sequel in 2023. In Good Hands. Melissa is a single mother whose entire world revolves around her little son, Jan. But life delivers a devastating blow when she's diagnosed with a terminal illness. Determined to secure her child's future, she spends her remaining time, not in despair, but searching for someone who could love and protect John after she's gone. That someone might be Ferit, a charming bachelor who enters her life by chance. What starts as an unlikely friendship soon turns into a bond, filled with warmth and hope. Melissa dares to believe that maybe, just maybe, Ferit could become the person she's been searching for, the one she can trust with her son's heart. In Good Hands delicately explores love that isn't bound by blood, but by choice, showing how strangers can become family and loneliness can turn into belonging. Starring Kayan Irgancıoğlu, Aslı Enver, and Mert Yayak. Chasing the Wind. Asli is a determined and ambitious businesswoman fighting to save her family's company from bankruptcy. Her last hope is a luxury hotel project in the picturesque Bay of Çeşme. But to make it happen, she needs the signature of Ye, a laid-back surfer, and heir to the same corporation, who long ago turned his back on the business world in favor of a carefree coastal life. Asli believes the deal will take just a few minutes. Yegi wants to get it over with as fast as possible. Yet a single day spent together changes everything. Old memories resurface, past wounds reopen, and buried feelings spark back to life. Now, both face a difficult choice: loyalty to duty and profit, or love and the preservation of nature, something Ye deeply values. Combining romance, drama, and touches of comedy, Chasing the Wind captures not just a love story, but also the beauty of the Aegean coastline, which becomes a character in itself. Starring Hande Erçel and Barış Arduç, whose electric chemistry brings the story vividly to life. Make Me Believe. Two wise and energetic grandmothers decide to play Cupid and arrange a meeting between their grandchildren Denise and Sahara. In childhood, they were inseparable friends and perhaps each other's first love. But years of distance, misunderstandings, and hurt feelings have turned their connection into cold estrangement. The grandmothers are sure the moment they get a chance to reconnect, the spark from the past will reignite. Thus begins a series of funny and touching events where the main characters must face not only each other, but also their long-suppressed emotions. Against the backdrop of Turkey's picturesque landscapes, unfolds a story about how the past isn't always something to forget. Sometimes it holds the key to a new beginning. Starring Ece Ayşin Turan and Ekin Koç, whose on-screen chemistry fills the film with warmth and lightness. Sisters-in-law. What happens when two completely different sisters-in-law end up living under the same roof? That's right, a real war begins. Salim and Fatish are two brothers who get married almost at the same time. Their wives couldn't be more different. Gizem is calm, domestic, and soft-spoken, who loves coziness and dreams of having a job. Sultan, on the other hand, is her total opposite, loud, flashy, addicted to social media, always dressed up with a phone in hand, and with zero intention of working. A rivalry immediately sparks between the two, who cooks better, who looks better, and who is more loved by their mother-in-law. But things escalate when they overhear that the mother-in-law plans to give her house to the one who gives her a grandchild first. From that moment on begins a wild competition filled with hilarious situations, intrigues, and absurd antics. Each tries to outshine the other, and the audience gets a fast-paced, lighthearted, and very Turkish comedy about jealousy, rivalry, and family chaos. Starring Gup Sose, Merv Dizdar, Ferit Aktürk, and Yuras Kagilaroglu. Paper Lives. A moving drama about pain, hope, and human fragility. The main character, Mehmet, lives in the poor neighborhoods of Istanbul and earns a living by collecting recyclable waste. He takes care of homeless children because he himself grew up in an orphanage and knows what it feels like to be forgotten. After a medical crisis and a grim diagnosis, doctors tell Mehmet he urgently needs a kidney transplant. But fate takes an unexpected turn when he finds a little boy, Ali, hidden in a cardboard box, abandoned by his mother to protect him from an abusive stepfather. From that moment, Mehmet's life changes completely. He becomes determined to help the boy no matter what, forgetting his own struggles. It's a story of two lost souls who accidentally find each other and become family. Set against the raw and noisy backdrop of Istanbul, the film shows that even in the darkest corners of life, there's still light as long as there's kindness in your heart. The ending completely changes your perception of the story, and Çağatay Ulusoy's performance makes it even more powerful and unforgettable. Godspeed. Godspeed is a touching drama about friendship, pain, and the struggle to find a way back to life after war. At first glance, the story unfolds slowly. Captain Salih, Engin Akyurek, a war veteran who lost his leg and carries deep emotional scars, sets out on a long road trip across Turkey with his former comrade Kerem, Tolga Sarıtaş. Their goal is to stop the wedding of the woman Kerem still loves. Salih escapes from the hospital where he's being treated for depression, and the journey becomes more than just a trip. It's a path toward understanding himself. Memories of war, loss, and guilt haunt him constantly, intertwining with the present. Gradually, the viewer begins to see the meaning behind every flashback and every small detail, from Salih's strange actions to his reactions, to seemingly insignificant things. By the finale, all the threads come together in an unexpected twist that makes you rethink everything you've just watched. Godspeed is a story of sacrifice, duty, friendship, and how even in the deepest darkness, hope can still be found. It leaves a lasting emotional impression and will especially appeal to those who appreciate profound philosophical dramas. Last Call for Istanbul. Last Call for Istanbul is a romantic drama about a chance encounter that turns into destiny. Starring Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ and Baran Sayat, the iconic duo from the legendary series Forbidden Love, the film rekindles their unforgettable on-screen chemistry. From the very first scene, the attraction between their characters is undeniable. The story begins at New York's airport, where Mehmet and Seren arrive on separate flights. When Seren loses her luggage, Mehmet offers to help, unaware that this brief moment will change their lives forever. Both are married, both seemingly content, but the evening they spend together alters everything. They find themselves in the same hotel, sharing one evening, one night, and perhaps one destiny. At first, it seems like a fleeting romance, but as time passes, they realize they've found something far deeper. The two must face lies, doubt, and emotional turmoil to discover that true love sometimes arrives when you least expect it. The second half of the film reveals the full emotional puzzle, giving depth and meaning to their actions. This is not your typical Turkish melodrama. Netflix brings a Western cinematic touch, with minimalist dialogue, sleek storytelling, and a visually rich portrayal of New York. Last Call for Istanbul is a beautiful, mature story about passion, choice, and the price of genuine feelings. Art of Love. Art of Love is a stylish romantic drama with a touch of mystery, a story where love clashes with duty. The main character, Aline, works for Interpol, investigating a string of high-profile art thefts. But during her mission, she makes a shocking discovery. The elusive thief known as the Romantic is none other than her ex-lover. Now, Alien faces an impossible choice: arrest him and fulfill her duty, or listen to her heart and give him a chance at redemption. Their reunion turns into an emotional battle where the past, passion, and loyalty intertwine in a dangerous game. Set across Prague, Budapest, and Istanbul, the film dazzles with stunning European scenery, elegant interiors, and a cinematic sense of sophistication. Ezra Bilgich shines in every frame, whether she's chasing suspects, firing a gun, or revealing moments of tender vulnerability. Art of Love is a story about a woman torn between her sense of duty and her capacity to love. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this selection, don't forget to give it a like. Check out my other videos and see you soon!